Great, we're going to call to order the July 14th meeting of the Escondido Library Board of Trustees. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
So move.
John seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Right. Okay, and we're going to move the library marketing current business to August. So that leaves us with the merchandise purchase request.
Okay, so that is mine. We, as I've discussed before, we do sell some merchandise in the library, and then the proceeds from that go back into the trust. And previous to LSS coming on board, we would request the trust funds to purchase and then sell at a markup so that we're making some kind of income. So my request would be for us to use up to $7,000 from the trust to purchase, and we're doing new branding on our materials, so it will cover branded earbuds, USB drives, and tote bags, as well as some staff shirts to wear at outreach. And the $7,000 should cover us for quite a while and allow us to get those branded things set up so that the future purchases will be less expensive.
Oh, Katie, this is my 4th year as a trustee, and this is the first request I've seen. So give us a guesstimate of how long this inventory will last, you think? I know it's a guesstimate.
I'm going to guess probably about 3 years.
3 years.
Unless our marketing does wonderful things and people buy them a lot quickly. So this is part of the thing is we've been buying just kind of like really inexpensive bulk from Amazon up to this point. It was like right after we came from LSNS, like in 2018 or 2019. And the stuff that I purchased then, we have just now run out of. So this would be buying larger quantities than that, but also with the branding, so it's a little bit more expensive. But also because we're doing branded stuff, we're going to be marketing the materials more. We're going to be putting it on social media. Hey, pick up your, So we're hoping to sell more of them, but if sales continue in the way in which they have been, it will most likely last at least 3 years.
Okay.
And we recoup some of the $7,000 when you sell some of these items, right, Katie?
Yes. So basically, I buy in bulk at a discounted rate, and then when we sell them, they have a set sales price that is in the city's. Like we have like a budget coding for like how much we can sell things for. So I always buy them for less money than we sell them for. So you guys should make that back with a small profit.
Well, I move approval.
John, what are your concerns? I also don't have any concerns with this.
Just that to me, it doesn't make sense to buy more than 3 years worth, but whatever you estimate that to be, I'm happy with.
When's the next time you're going to rebrand?
Well, we just rebranded. So we just did the E and everything. And so we hadn't bought and branded stuff because we were in the middle. And now that we've rebranded, I mean, that's going to be the setup. I doubt we're going to rebrand anytime soon.
Also, John, keep in mind that 2020, they likely didn't sell anything because of the shutdown.
Good point.
Okay, so I'm good with it. I will second Ron's motion.
Okay, let's vote.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jared, do you want to talk to us about the chairs?
Yes, I do. So we gave you an estimate for the chairs based on what we found online. So we requested $13,000 from the trust for the new staff chairs. We underestimated the total cost and are requesting an additional $2,406.72. That covers shipping and assembly, which we had not accounted for. So I apologize. And they said it takes roughly, is it 20 minutes per chair? It's 20 minutes per chair. So for roughly 35 chairs, that was a lot of time. So that was something we had not included in our original cost request.
I move to approve.
Second.
All right.
Great. Let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Great. Okay, Jennifer, would you like to come up and present to us on economic development update for the city of Escondido?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Jennifer Shenik. I'm the Deputy Director of Economic Development for the City of Escondido. And with me is my colleague Pedro.
Hi everybody, Pedro Cardenas. I'm a Management Analyst in the Economic Development Department and I work with Jennifer.
So today we are going to present to you an overview of economic development at the city, as well as provide some updates on our current projects. So in order to do that, I'm going to use our city website. So here from the homepage, you can navigate to our city department under the City Managers tab. So we are in the City Manager's office. And economic development serves as the team that is the business liaison to all of our businesses in the city and potential businesses that are looking to locate inside of our city. So some of the things that our team assists with are demographics and statistics. We regularly look at our economic conditions, both historical trends and what we're predicting in the future. We look at our industry analysis and our property analysis. So under economic development is also real property. That's all of the property that the city owns, including City Hall, the library, and currently some vacant parcels as well. We also oversee business license, which is often the first point of entry of a business into the city when they come to apply for their business license. Every business that operates inside of the city, even for a short-term contract, is required to receive a business license with the city. We help with business expansion, attraction, and retention activities. So we often phrase these as bear activities. So what we're looking to do is make sure that our city is ripe and ready for businesses to come and move here, that we have the right land, that we have the right policies in place, that the industry conditions are right. And then we also will help businesses with siting. So for example, a business can call our office and say, this is the type of business I am, what kind of zoning is required for my type of business, and where should I locate? And sometimes we're able to give them additional insights based on the qualitative information we see on the ground and help them choose a site. A really popular tool is LoopNet. It's kind of like the Redfin for commercial properties, so that's a tool that we use often to help them as well. We also look at workforce needs, so really a part of attracting a business to an area is not only having the right land conditions and building conditions, but having the right workforce. Businesses want to know, if I locate here, are there going to be the people here to do the jobs that I need them to do? And so we work very closely with our education institutions, including Palomar College. They have a great continuing education campus here. We also work with neighboring CSUSM and other colleges in the county as well. And then we like to connect businesses to other resources that are available to them. We are not experts at everything, so we really count on our partners to be good resources for our business community. For example, the SBDC is a good resource for businesses that are just starting out or want to grow. That stands for the Small Business Development Center, so we often refer businesses there. And then we also help businesses through city processes. Oftentimes when a business locates to our city, it's the first time they've filled out a business license. It's the first time they've remodeled a building and needed to get permits. So we act as a liaison to city processes as well to say, here's the application, here's what we need from you, and we often walk a business through some of those processes as well. So as I mentioned, we oversee real property, business license, and business resources. So one of the projects that we're currently working on is a small business facade improvement grant. So businesses now are able to apply to update the look and feel of the front of their buildings with this grant process. So that just kicked off, and that's something that Pedro is overseeing for our team. And if anyone in the community would like to stay updated on what is happening in our department and also receive general industry news, they can subscribe to our Business Insights newsletter. I think it's a good way for us to stay up to date on our different departments as well. I know I subscribed to the newsletter and the social media of the library. It's a really great source of information to stay updated. So ours is here as well. We often feature different businesses and industries in stories in our newsletter as well. And then lastly, what I'll go over on this page, and then I'll turn it over to some of the data resources that we have for you, is our comprehensive economic development strategy. So in order to complete our work in a very strategic way with community input and council approval, every 5 years, the city staff is the project manager for the city's comprehensive economic development strategy. So this serves as a tool, a roadmap really, for all parties in the city, the Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Business Association, the library, business owners, for us to get together and say, what would we like our economy to look like in 5 years and beyond? And what are the strategic initiatives we're going to work on together to get there? So this last one was presented in 2018. So we are just now starting the process of updating this document. So today at the Chamber of Commerce at 4 p.m., we actually have our first community gathering where we just explain what the SEDS is and what the process is for participation and what it's going to look like over the next several months to get this new document together. And we're really looking at forming action committees after that so that we can continue to work on tangible plans to achieve specific goals related to the strategic document. So next, I'll just talk about our data. So with any strategic planning process, first you have to know what the data is, right? You have to know where you've been in order to know where you're going, and we use that phrase a lot in the city. So when I came on board with the city just last September, I wanted to have a good look at where our economy was. What does Escondido look like? And the data was so good and compelling, I thought we should really make this data accessible and user-friendly to the entire community. So what we did is work with a company to put together a data dashboard that looks at our economic area of influence. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. It's embedded on this page, but then it's also available here, just so we can see it in a larger format. So I'll present this, and then I'll hand it over to Pedro for another data source as well. But you're welcome to use this whenever it is helpful or useful to you. So our economic area of influence is not only what is inside the city boundaries, but it includes all of the zip codes that are Escondido. And so inside of our city boundaries are actually some holes where there's county land or city land. And so what you see here is our total population in all of our Escondido zip codes, 178,742, and this is pulled from census data. And this is meant to be a tool for business attraction. So again, when a business comes in, they want to know, what does my workforce look like? What is gross regional product for my industry? What are average wages for the types of individuals I'd like to hire? And that information can be seen on this dashboard. I think that there's also some really other pieces of information related to available jobs and population comparison and changes, population age change in Escondido and in the county. So this can help compare our city to what is happening region-wide. You can click on some of these headers, they're dynamic. And one piece of information that I really like in this dashboard, and I'll just scroll through it, you can explore on your own later and get into the data that's of most interest to you. I'm kind of a data nerd, so I could talk about every piece of this forever. We'd be here way longer than you'd want to be today. If you want to walk through later, happy to do that. But if at any point you have a question of any of these separate modules, I'm happy to answer it. So something I really like down here is our job postings trend. So here's our 5-year trend, and this is based on job postings online. And so we also have a 30-day trend, and we can see when job postings go up, when they go down. And to me, as an economic developer, this is kind of a leading indicator of how our economy is performing. If we see jobs being posted by businesses, that's showing that that business has a degree of confidence that they're going to be able to support that individual in the future. And then here's a trailing 30-day top 10 hiring companies. Palomar Health is always at the top of the list. And you can see some other companies that are hiring in our neighborhood. And activity change as well. So General Atomic had posted a lot of jobs. They're not now, so they've obviously completed their hiring spree for the moment. And this is kind of interesting to see what employers are really actively looking for talent, and that can help guide us in understanding what type of talent we might need to produce or work on with our educational partners in order to keep these businesses happy and engaged in our community. And we also have an educational pipeline section that talks about institutions and programs completed, and then quality of life in terms of home values. Escondido is similar to Oceanside with a lot of our statistics. We're both older cities, we're both large cities in terms of population and in terms of area. So we have naturally affordable older housing stock. So a lot of individuals through the pandemic have moved to Escondido. Home ownership rate and construction type, counties of migration. So in San Diego County, this is saying where people are coming from and where they're moving to. So we see in San Diego County, we're attracting a lot of people from LA. We're losing people to Riverside, i.e. Temecula. And then at the bottom, these are our data sources. So if you ever want to dig into this data and you have additional questions, please reach out. And then I'm going to turn it over to Pedro to talk about a state resource as well that has the ability to compare Escondido to other cities.
Thank you, Jennifer. So I'd like to present the GoBiz California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development's free data tool. It's a community and place-based data tool that's free to use, and you can use it and access it 24/7. I'll quickly show you how to access this site. You simply look up GoBiz, and that'll take you to the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. The tool that we're using is housed under the apps column, and if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the community and place-based data tool. So it's an interactive map with tons and tons of great data sources. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hone in on Escondido. And the great thing about this tool is that it has data information about every city and region in California, so it's not limited to just Escondido. So when you come up to this first page, it's going to give you a snapshot of Escondido and some really important sticking points for our communities. So that includes population, population growth, educational attainment, and so on. These maps are also interactive, so if you want to interact with it and at different points in time, that's something that is available. So if we wanted to see a different year, that's also an option as well. Another great resource that is available here is that you're able to share these images. If you have a newsletter that you have, or if you would like to house something on your website, you can download these images and they will store as JPEGs with these same kind of great graphics that are shareable with data points that you can share. I thought that's a really good tool. And it has a lot of great data points. I mean, it has demographics, occupation data, establishments. I think that one of the most powerful tools here is the business option. So this will show you any type of business in Escondido. Right now we have all of the businesses scattered throughout, so it gets a little busy, so I like to turn all of those options off. And when I want to hone in on something, it just depends on what kind of industry you're looking for. So for example, we are currently working on a hotel feasibility study. That's something that's really important to our department, and we got a question asking how many lodging and hotel businesses do you currently have in Escondido? And I didn't have that information readily available, but I remembered that I can use this tool, and I clicked on it, and it showed me on a map, on this GIS map, where our lodging businesses lied in Escondido. And I can even hone in a bit on that, and it'll give me the exact businesses. It'll list their names as well as their sales. And I thought that was really neat. This is a really great tool because at any point, if I wanted to share this exact instance of information, I can share this through the share tool, this share icon, and I can either save this tool, this link, and it'll take me directly to this type of instance, or if you are more social media savvy, you can share that on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, and I think that's really cool. Just like the last data dashboard, there are so many different things that you can pull up with this information. Like Jennifer mentioned earlier, we can compare communities. So if I wanted to compare lodging in Escondido versus Oceanside, this tool has that capacity. It'll also compare demographics and all of these different data points that we went over. Lots of great information. And I have a demonstration video that we can definitely share. If that's something that the library is interested in, I'd be more than happy to share that with you and go a little bit more in depth. But this is the free tool offered by the state.
Great, thank you, Pedro. And so this is just the beginning of what our department wants to share with you, and we look forward to continuing to work with the library and create a closer relationship with staff and the initiatives that you have. So it's so nice to meet you, and thank you for your time.
Well, great. Thank you so much. It was really interesting. I think you gave us, I think both John and I were taking notes over here about what to go take a look at tonight and into the future. We are also, I think, both data nerds, if I can call you that.
Please do.
Okay, great. So one of the things that I found really interesting is that you're starting to develop your strategic plan. So we just went through that with the library, and there was a lot that came out of that that I think would be very interesting to integrate into yours. So I don't know if it's something where, you know, John and I or Virginia and I meet with you and we go through the plan with Dara there as well. In developing our strategic plan, LS&S made some very interesting marketing data available to us. I don't know if you were able to, if you know about that. But I think reaching out to Debbie Joy will be really interesting, because the marketing data that they leverage to develop the strategic plan could give you more insight into our population, and particularly what our population is interested in purchasing in the future. So that could also help with attracting businesses to the city. I think that was my major pitch. John, did you?
I think that, I'm trying to remember the guy's name who lives in Arizona, who put together that, yes, from LS&S. That you guys remember, right?
His name is Steve Kaufman.
Yes, okay. Well, if we could get that data, I think you'd find it very, very useful. Okay. And also, at some point, we're going to be talking again later this year about developing a plan for a new library, and certainly have to have you guys, you know, it's got to be something everybody's in sync on.
I think the other way that the library can potentially help with economic development is the resources we have towards skill development. So it was really interesting to see, you know, a couple of technology firms. I think I saw like Aerotech and, of course, GA on that list. I work in aeronautics for the aeronautic industry. So, you know, focusing on where big companies like that want to expand, I think would be very interesting. And then too, seeing how the library can kind of help with that. If it's outreach to with programs of STEM or whatnot, I would like to see how we can integrate into your plan for that as well.
That's great. Thank you for the resources. We'll definitely be in touch, and I'll make sure to connect with Dara on our strategic plan and integrate your plan into that for sure. Thank you.
Okay, great. And then if you are having any like focus groups on your plan, I would love to participate. And Joanna has all of my contact information. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Ron, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, it's a little harder when you can't see anything. So I trust you and John. You're the techie people, and so I appreciate your comments.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ron. Well, thanks, Jennifer and Pedro. Really appreciate you coming out and talking to us. Okay, Dara, the director's report.
Okay. So in June, we had our first book fair. Once Upon a Book Fair at Grape Day Park ended up having 126 attendees, which was phenomenal for a first-time program. So we were very excited about that. Our second Saturday concert had 22 people in attendance, which isn't horrible. It's a lot lower than our numbers were previously, but we're getting that program kind of back on people's radar. And then we've had our gardening workshop on vermicomposting with 18 attendees. Your Story Right Now was a writing workshop that lasted from May through the first 2 weeks of June. Excuse me. It was very, very successful. It had a consistent 44 enrollees with a consistent 15 people at each session, which was great. Our summer reading challenge kicked off day one with 115 people signing up. We're up to 1,250. We closed out the month with the Traveling Tide Pool program, which is funded by our Library Foundation. And we had 208 attendees that came to learn about ocean life and touch the sea animals. But along with our summer reading program, having the 1,250 people, 142 of those are babies, 444 are kids, 253 are tweens, 155 teens, which includes a great teen volunteer workforce that has been helping us this summer, 256 adults, which is great, and a lot of other fun things happening at our library. We were able to see 3 of our part-timers become full-timers. John Archer, who you may know, he's been in customer service for quite some time. He has moved to adult services as a library associate 3 in a full-time position, so we're excited about that. And then Ashley Hayes, when Peter, unfortunately, we lost him to go be with family in Texas. When his position was open, she stepped up, so she's basically our full-time Pioneer Room person. So she's very knowledgeable. She has her degree in history and is really doing great things promoting the Pioneer Room. So we're happy to have her full-time as well now. Now her, or John's movement out of that position created 20 more hours in addition to 20 hours vacated by Ashley's position, when she took Peter's, if you can follow all that. So we now have a Brill from Youth Services. She's a bilingual speaker, which is very helpful. And she's going to be in customer service now. So 3 people moved up to full-time, and 2 of them are working on their master's in library and information science. So that's great. And we are currently in the process of hiring 2 ESL tutors for the ESL program we've recently established. Our first hire is Alana Uziel, and she starts Monday. So she'll be, I think, 18 hours. So that's all of our fun, exciting information. It's a lot of HR shuffling right now. Did you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I just did want to commend you, though. It sounds like a lot of your vacancies are filled by people who already work with LS&S, with the library.
Right, we do. We definitely try to promote within
Yes.
when we have the right people and it's a good fit. And especially when you have people that are working to further their career in libraries, that makes a difference as well.
I think that there are very few companies out there who actually do that, so I think that's a wonderful practice. Ron, did you want to make any comments?
Well, I agree with you. I really like this. I like the fact that they're pursuing their master's degree. I like the fact that we self-promote. I did have one question for Dara, and that was, actually it's probably more for Joanna. Have we heard anything about our grant application?
No, we have not. And the California State Library is often a little behind their projected timelines for giving information. So they had said summer, so maybe we'll find out before September, if not likely in the fall sometime.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking at page 11, connect through marketing, connect through outreach. So you had 2 professors from Cal State verify that there was Hoopla was available.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened before?
Well, we had one of the ones that called this year to make sure we were going to continue it, had called last year. As soon as they found out we had Hoopla and it had some of the reading materials they wanted to use in their classes, and they just wanted to make sure it would be available through the school year, and we were able to say certainly because we've just started the subscription, we're good for a year. Hoopla has been very successful at this library. It's definitely well used. I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Okay, well, I was just, one of the things I think I saw in the focus groups for the strategic plan was, I was amazed at how many people should know what the library has to offer, but they didn't. So that outreach to make sure people are aware of library resources is great, and this is a good example of that.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tara.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think the last thing is to go through experiences at or with or about the library. Ron, would you like to go first?
Well, I have been pretty much under the weather for almost 3 weeks, so I really have nothing to report, to be very honest.
I think that's totally understandable. I hope you feel better soon.
Well, I think I'm finally starting to feel a little better.
Oh, good, good. John, anything for you?
Thank you.
I went to the children's section, I guess it was almost a month ago, and I wanted a book that would show little kids what it was like on their first airplane flight. And I'm terrible on names, but the person on duty there spent about 10 minutes going through the collection and found me some books, and that was great.
So I recently went on vacation. I was up in Packwood, Washington last week doing some hiking at Mount Rainier. And one of the things I like to do when I go to a new city is take a look at their library. And so I ventured in there, and it was really cool to talk. I got to talk to the, she manages the library. She manages 2 branches. But it was just so interesting to see their collection. They service about 300 people, so it's very small. And their building is about as old as ours is, but it was made with the wood from the local loggers. So they're good on their building. But one of the programs they have, which was really interesting, is they called it It's Your Lucky Day. And basically what it is that each of the branches of the library get a certain amount of new books that cannot be put on hold. And so you venture into the library and you look at that wall, and you could potentially get a book that is unavailable because it's so popular. Yeah, so it kind of welcomes people in. It gets people into the library, and then also it makes the patron feel special because they got to read a book that maybe would not have been available to them for 6, 8, 10 weeks. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to go explore that, because I'm wondering, they must have it, the status, so you can't just set, so you can't hold it no matter what, right? Right.
So I don't know how they did that, but yeah.
I wonder how often that display's empty.
So when I went in there, there were probably about 20 books there.
Okay.
But they're also part of a larger conglomerate, I think. Like she said that they were part of a branch of, I think, 30.
Okay.
So maybe that's how they swing it, especially with a community of 300.
I don't know, it's something to think about. That's a very fun idea. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, with that, if there's nothing else, I will adjourn this meeting of the Escondido Library Board of Trustees. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Serena.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Ron.